What if I told you there was a bug that looks like a delicate pink and white orchid, but hunts like a tiny precision-guided missile? Imagine a flower that could snap a cricket in half faster than you can say oops. That's the Orchid Mantis, and it's basically nature's way of saying, don't judge a bug by its blossom. Welcome to What Is, the channel that takes the weird and wonderful and turns them into bite-sized stories you can actually use at dinner parties. And today we're diving into the world of the Hymenopus coronatus, the Orchid Mantis, the walking flower, the floral fashion victim that also happens to be a ruthless predator. A flower with appetite. First things first, what exactly is an orchid mantis? Put simply, it's a mantid, part of the order Mantidea, that has taken mimicry to a whole new level. Instead of the typical brown and green twig vibe you'll find on most mantises, the orchid mantis wears striking pink and white, and sometimes even coral-colored outfits that resemble the petals of an orchid. Its legs are flattened and leaf-like, and its forewings often display a pattern that looks like a flower's veins. It's basically the insect world's answer to a runway model, gorgeous, photogenic, and lethal. Now you might think, okay, it's pretty, but why does it look like a flower? And the answer is aggressive mimicry. The orchid mantis doesn't just hide from predators, it actively lures prey by pretending to be a tasty nectar source. Insects, whether they're bees, butterflies, or flies, spot what they think is a flower, land on it, and snap. The mantis's raptorial forelegs tighten in a fraction of a second. In other words, it's the original fake flower scheme, and it works like a charm. If insects had Yelp reviews, the orchid mantis would have a ton of one-star notes about misleading advertising. But the mantis doesn't care. It's too busy feasting. Taxonomy and physical profile. Let's get a bit scientific, but keep it fun. The orchid mantis belongs to the family Hymenopus, a group called flower mantises. Its scientific name, Hymenopus coronatus, roughly translates to membrane-footed crown bearer, which is a fancy way of saying it's got fancy foot pads and a crown-like head. Adult females are the showstoppers. They can reach up to 6 to 7 centimeters in length, that's about 2.5 to 3 inches, while males are considerably smaller, usually around 3 to 4 centimeters. The size difference is huge. In fact, if you put a male and female side by side, you swear they belong to different species. One of the most fascinating aspects of their appearance is their ability to adjust their color. While they're mostly pink or white, some individuals can turn a deeper orange-brown when they're on a darker leaf, helping them blend in even better. Think of it as the mantis's very own Instagram filter, except it's for survival, not likes. While here at What Is, I definitely like those likes. If you're digging this deep dive into the orchid mantis, we have more videos like this on our channel and more coming soon. Hit that like button, it really helps the channel blossom. See what I did there? Let's get back to the orchid mantis and look next at where it lives, the tropical real estate. The orchid mantis is a Southeast Asian native. You'll find it in the rainforests of Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Myanmar, and even the Philippines. It prefers the humid, dense canopies of tropical forests, usually hanging out on the underside of large leaves or on low-lying shrubs where sunlight filters through. Its habitat choice is strategic. The forest floor can be a dangerous place. Lots of bigger predators, more competition. By living up in the foliage, the orchid mantis gets first dibs on incoming pollinators. It also has a built-in leaf umbrella that protects it from the heavy rains, because frankly, no one wants a soggy flower. The art of the hunt, predator in disguise. Now the juicy part. How does this flower actually catch its meals? The orchid mantis is a sit-and-wait predator. It perches on a leaf, stays perfectly still, and sways gently in the breeze, mimicking a blossom swaying in the wind. When a potential prey item, an unwary fly, a honeybee, or even a small moth, comes close, the mantis lunges. Its strike is lightning fast, 0.1 to 0.2 seconds, which is essentially the speed of a blink. The powerful forelegs, equipped with spines, clamp down and hold the victim in a vice-like grip. Then the mantis starts munching, using its mandibles to tear apart the insect, much like we'd eat a crunchy snack. Fun fact, the mantis doesn't even need to chase its food, it just needs to look pretty and wait. In the words of one etymologist, it's the world's most passive-aggressive hunter. Literally flower power with a side of murder. What's on the menu? The orchid mantis is what you'd call a generalist insectivore. Its diet includes flies, houseflies and fruit flies, moths and butterflies, crickets and grasshoppers when they're small enough, and occasionally tiny frogs or lizards that wander too close. In captivity, hobbyists often feed them fruit flies, small crickets, and even mealworms. But in the wild, they've been observed tracking prey up to twice their own body size. Imagine a tiny flower taking down a fat bumblebee. Now that's a viral video. Life cycle from egg to adult. Like all mantises, the orchid mantis undergoes incomplete metamorphosis, meaning it doesn't have a true pupal stage. Instead, it hatches a miniature version of the adult called a nymph. Egg stage. Females lay a frothy egg case called an euthachia, attached to a twig or leaf. This foam protects the dozens of eggs inside from predators and the elements. Nymph stage. When the nymphs emerge, they're tiny, wingless, and often resemble ants rather than flowers. This ant mimicry is a clever defense. Ants are aggressive and taste bad, so predators think twice before snacking on them. As they molt several times, usually 5 or 6, they gradually develop their iconic flower-like appearance. Adult stage. After the final molt, they acquire full wings. In females they're often reduced, while males have fully developed wings for flying. Adults live for several months, with females typically outliving males, a pattern we're going to revisit as we move on to talk about romance in the mantis world. Romance, reproduction, and a little cannibalism. Mating in the orchid mantis is as dramatic as you'd expect from a predator that also looks like a flower. When a male senses a receptive female, he'll approach cautiously, because, well, females are known to snack on males during or after copulation. It's a classic case of love is a battlefield. The male will perform a delicate dance, moving its antenna and wings to signal his intentions. If the female is in the mood, she'll allow him to climb on her back. If not, well, let's just say he might become an extra appetizer. After mating, the female lays her eggs and the cycle begins anew. While this cannibalistic behavior might be a bit gruesome, it's actually a smart nutritional strategy. The extra protein helps her produce healthier eggs. In the mantis world, romance can be a life or death situation. Predators and defenses. Even a master of disguise has enemies. The orchid mantis falls prey to birds, larger insects, reptiles, and sometimes even bats. Its primary defense is, of course, its flower mimicry. Most predators think it's just a harmless bloom. If discovered, it can also use a startle display, suddenly spreading its wings and flashing bright colors to frighten the attacker, giving it a split second to escape. Another clever defense is its ability to sway. By moving in a slow, rhythmic motion, it not only mimics a flower in the wind, but also makes it hard for visual predators to lock onto its shape. It's basically doing a gentle wave while thinking, "You don't see me, right?" Conservation status. Is the orchid mantis threatened? Currently, the orchid mantis is not listed as endangered or threatened by the IUCN. However, its rainforest habitats are under pressure from deforestation, logging, and agricultural expansion. As Southeast Asia's forests shrink, the mantis's home shrinks with them. In the pet trade, they're considered a prized species. Breeders often sell them for a premium. While sustainable captive breeding programs exist, illegal collection from the wild could become a concern if demand spikes. The rule of thumb, if you're thinking about getting one as a pet, make sure it comes from a reputable breeder who respects wild populations. Why should we care? Beyond the wow factor, the orchid mantis is a shining example of evolutionary creativity. Its mimicry isn't just skin deep, it's a complex hunting strategy that has inspired researchers studying robotics, camouflage, and even biomimetic design. Imagine a robot that can blend into a flower bed and snatch a fly. Sounds like science fiction, but the mantis already does it. Also, the orchid mantis sparks curiosity. People see a flower that moves and ask, what is that? And end up learning about ecosystems, predator-prey dynamics, and the importance of biodiversity. In that sense, it's an ambassador for the tiny, often overlooked insects that keep our planet humming. Let's boil it down. What is it? Hymenopus coronatus, a flower mimicking mantis from Southeast Asia. What does it look like? A pink-white orchid with leaf-shaped limbs, females larger than males. Where does it live? Tropical rainforests of Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and nearby regions. How does it hunt? By posing as a flower, waiting for pollinators, and striking in milliseconds. What does it eat? Flies, moths, crickets, and occasionally small vertebrates. Life cycle: egg, ant mimic nymph, adult, flower-like. Conservation: not critically endangered, but habitat loss is a looming threat. Fun facts to impress your friends. Walking orchid. Some people call them walking flowers because they literally stroll around the leaf litter while looking like a blossom. Color shifting. They can adjust their hue from pinkish white to deeper coral, depending on the background. Swaying. The mantis gently sways to mimic a flower in the wind, a behavior that also helps it avoid detection by predators. Sexual size dimorphism. Females can be up to twice the size of males, making them one of the most size-distinct mantis species. Mantises in love. The male's approach is so risky that some researchers compare it to playing roulette with your own life. Final thoughts. The orchid mantis reminds us that looks can be deceiving, especially in nature. It's a living, breathing case study in evolution, showing how a creature that can turn its body into both a trap and a disguise. So next time you're admiring a beautiful orchid, pause for a second, because that flower might just be watching you back. Thanks for joining me on this floral-filled adventure. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment with your own mantis tales, share this video with friends, and subscribe to What Is for more nature, science, music, and many other topics, because the world is full of what is moments waiting to be explored. See you next time.